see name tags, something that we haven't seen before. We see that. All right, that looks good, man.
I'm doing all right.
All right.
Shake your hand.
Yes, sir.
All right.
That is a plus, brother. Let's see.
Once again, we'd like to welcome each of you and to say we know that it's a bit hot up in here, but nevertheless, let's welcome our council member Smallwood. First and foremost, before we get started, I'd like to recognize our, we have in the house, our state representative. Would you please stand? Would you like some words?
No, I'll just let you proceed with business, but thank you for the recognition.
And next we have Ms. Sarah Hunt with National Action Network. Ms. Hunt, you are invited guest. I know we have here as a citizen. We know that you're not a citizen. Would you like to have a few words?
Maybe another time.
All right, thank you. Are there any other dignitaries? Is Mr. DASF here?
His son is having hospital surgery today. He wasn't sure. He did call, so that's why we're not going to his son in surgery.
Okay. All right, we're moving right along. Our first order of business is we have on the agenda is to approve the council meeting minutes of June 2nd, June 16th, and July 7th, 2014. I was not here, so not only at that time. So, does anybody, council, have any concerns of the discussion?
I feel like we should approve the council minutes for June 2nd, because there was an official meeting on June 2nd. On June 16th and the 7th, there was not a meeting. That was unofficial.
We're open for discussion. Anyone else?
Even though they weren't meetings, when you get together, you have to record what was said, and that is all that's reflected on these. There was no meeting actually held, but you have to record what was said there that night. That's by state law.
Mr. Edie, can you tell me where you found that at? I mean, I don't know. I was thinking that you don't have a meeting if you don't have four city council people in attendance.
Would you want to know where you find that?
I'm relying on the city clerk. She has to record it all, so if, you may ask her, but I'm not sure.
What are your open meetings, open records?
Can you hear what she?
So it's part of the Open Meetings, Open Records Act.
What is it?
What is it?
Anytime you have council people gathering and you advertise for the meeting, you know it's posted, even though everybody didn't show it, you still have to take minutes of it.
Oh, I thought that we was not supposed to take minutes.
You're supposed to take minutes.
Are you sure?
Well, we've always been told.
I was thinking that would be, in the open
Meetings, Open Records, Open Meetings Law.
Any other council persons have any questions you'd like to add to that? What about you? So, Has everybody had a chance to read the minute? If not, we can allow you to
I
take
did
your
because
time.
I was here on the second. I did.
Has every council member had a chance to read? Let me hear a yes or nay.
I read mine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright, so, since everybody's read the minutes, so what I can do is ask for a motion to either accept, all in favor of accepting the minutes for June 2nd.
Man, I would say to me, but I read the minutes, and I want to quote the motion that we receive these minutes.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I make a motion that we receive these minutes as written,
Are you talking about all three?
all three.
That was very okay. Yeah.
Motion has been made. All in favor?
I'd like to ask for a roll call vote tonight because I cannot hear from one end of the table to the other, so to help the city clerk, everybody needs to give their vote by voice, start at one end of the table or the other, so we can go down the table and all the votes tonight.
Yes. We'll start on your end.
Yes.
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 No.
Oh, Ms. Whipple voted no. Is that right? All right, did y'all repeat y'all's on that yet? What did Ms. Barbara say? No. All right, Mr. Craig?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Thank you.
Okay, the lady second, go ahead and take some motion. Motion carried.
Doesn't matter to me.
Okay, excuse me, Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, ma'am.
go ahead, you pass it back.
Good.
Okay, now you got it.
You sign later. That's where I put the date. That's where I sign.
Okay, you don't have to take it right here.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, we have old business. Now, the old business, we have a few changes that we want to, first of all, go ahead and adopt. Our first order of business under the old business is going to be to authorize the completion of the forensic audit by Bill Basket, accept the engagement letter and invoices. Can I get a motion?
I offer a motion that we accept his invoices and continue with this audit.
Motion has been made, can I get a second? Second. All in favor?
Discussion.
Discussion.
There's a third part in that, except engagement letter. That has to be done first. He has never been legally approved by the city attorney, his letter of audit, engagement. You can't go one without going back and do the other one, you know, so everything on there right there needs to be adjusted to accept his letter of engagement first before you can do anything else. So everything that's been done so far has been legal.
I'll take a look at it.
My understanding on this now, what we've been debating, I don't know if you took long, when I said it took long enough, but anyway, the thing with Mr. Basket was it not that we discussed that we approved to hire him. The problem we had was we didn't approve to pay him. And my assumption for that is, the reason why he has not worked is because we stopped paying him. He didn't get any pay. So what are we saying now, we just want to delete everything he's done and install him, or what are we gonna do?
Well, until it's legal for him to actually do any work for the city, this contract was signed by the mayor on 2/16, I think, I can't read it, paid it out pretty bad. But it was never, this was never voted on, you know, the letter of engagement, it's never been brought before this council to be voted on.
Well, council, and to add to that, my statement to that was, have y'all ever voted on anyone's engagement letter? Because, I was told that when the attorney was retained, there was no engagement letter. There's never been an engagement letter, even with Roger White, so you might want to clarify that.
I'm not gonna talk about any of the other ones. The motion now is talking about this one particular audit from Mr. Basket, you know, so you don't get off the subject with anything else, you know. So we need to stick with just this one item right now, you know.
That is the motion has been open, so we have the engagement letter for us, so now it's up to us to go ahead and decide.
Doing this engagement letter over, my question is, Ms. Eva, are we going to let him pick up where he left off? Or are we planning on starting over saying that everything he's done to this point is not relevant? So we have to pick up once we accept this and move forward, if that is the case.
Reason I don't have a good answer for that, you know, to be honest with you. I'm not just answer off the top of my head without, you know, put a lot more thought in it or get some more legal advice on where we at with that.
I don't have a problem except his engagement letter based on the fact that it's retroactive, that we continue to accept what he's done and pick up and go from there. That's the way I feel.
The other question I have is, the engagement letter does not have anything signed off by any attorney. Our city charter said that has to be reviewed by the city attorney. And on February the 16th of this year, Boone, Scott, and Boone were the legal attorneys, and it was never approved by them. So the question I have is how we're gonna back up now to that point, you know, and get it legalized when she's already signed it today, you know.
appoint Mr. Haskell to do the audit. Being mindful of the charter provisions that require the contracts to be approved by the city attorney, I contacted him shortly after this council approved him being hired. Unfortunately, Mr. Baskin claims that was some resistance from the city attorney. Now, the only resistance came from Mr. Baskin because he violated the Open Meetings Act when I asked him specifically for his letter of engagement so that I could review it, and if it was okay, approve it. I didn't care one way or the other. All I was trying to do was follow the charter to get a copy of the letter of engagement and approve it. I finally got one after several attempts, not from him, of course, but by then it was on the agenda for several meetings, but never got action on it, and there was never anything else done. So, I didn't have any reason not to approve it, except he wouldn't give it to me. Excuse me?
When did he give it to you?
He never did.
Oh, who gave it to you?
It was produced by an open records request. I had to file an open records request to get Mr. Baskin's letter, okay? Matter of fact, the mayor's attorney agreed it was not a legitimate subject for an open records request. He should have honored it. You know, I'm not here to debate merits of whether it's valid or not. It doesn't matter to me. As long as it was in order and this council voted on it, that's y'all's decision, not mine. As long as it's a valid letter of engagement, those things are pretty standard. You know, it's not my job to second guess the council on what they're going to do. Mr. Baskin was the one who wouldn't cough it up, not me. Be clear about it. There's some other issues with his work. That's not up to me. That's up to God.
Council, any further discussion? If not, motion has been made, a discussion, and now we're ready to take a vote.
Roll call vote again.
Okay. All in favor of accepting the engagement letter, let me hear by a word of aye. Roll call, I'm sorry.
Terry Reese, yes.
Terry Edie abstain.
I'm small enough. No. Yes.
Residential abstain.
By the time then I'm going to abstain.
Reese voted yes, E abstained, Smallwood no, Toles yes, Whipple abstained, and Dinsley abstained. So it failed.
So if that fails, let me ask you, where we stand with this audit? Are we just gonna say this, we're done, we're through with it, we're just moving on at this point?
I feel that we should go on with the audit, but I abstain because of the dates and the slack of signatures that we need from the lawyer. And I think we maybe need to take at our next meeting, go into executive section to maybe talk about this more so we can get a better feel on this and make sure we are doing everything that's legal. And so at the next meeting, I don't disapprove of the audit. I think we need it, but like I said, I think that we should just maybe take it to the next meeting so that we can all get a better feel of it. And that we'll know what we're signing, because we don't want to sign anything and it come back to hit us in the face. We want to sign it and we want to be right when we
So we just be willing to table it?
Yes.
We'll just table it for the next. Next, we have on the agenda to move forward the bank account discussion. Terry, discuss bank account, can you tell us about that?
Yes, ma'am. The reason that I had it on here and it rolled over from, the last 3 meetings is once they took you out of office, we were having a hard time getting signatures on the check. And I was hoping that we would have had at least 1 or 2 of the council people show up so we could have had a legal meeting so that we could vote to put other signatures on the card so that we could, get the payroll signed, the splosh signed. We're still having trouble as of this minute, getting the check signed. Ms. Toad has refused to sign Mr. Roberts' check that he is owed $40,215.56 right now for his work that he has done on the, account for the sewage upgrade. And so my intentions was to try to get myself or Mr. Freddie Densley on the account, but we never had a quorum, so we could not vote on it. That's the total reason that the bank account was listed on there.
I had signed 1 check for $40,000, and then the next week, another check came for $40,000. I was not gonna sign the same check twice. Who get paid $80,000 in 2 weeks? I was not gonna sign 2 checks. No, I didn't sign the other one. Yeah, I signed one. No, I was not signing another check. The same identical check going to the same identical place. I had just signed 1 check for $40,000, and I was not signing that same check again. That would have made $80,000. I was not going to do that.
You have copies of that?
Yes, ma'am, I have. If I could, I'd like to present the, information that has been presented by Mid-Georgia Electric, who is the one that did it. His total bid was $132,100. We paid him 1 check for $50,284.44. The next check for the work.
Excuse me, council, was all of the council members aware of that?
Yes,
Do they
ma'am.
have a copy?
Yes, ma'am, all of this was put in, all the boxes, it came in, and, we bidded on this contract last year, and I think on March the 7th, you signed off on it so he could start work, he and Sidney Piles on the CDBG.
No, I'm asking, are the new elected council members, were they given a copy of
All of this came in just recently, yes, ma'am.
Well, if it just came in recently, then they have not had a chance to review that and look at that and know what it's all about.
It's a
That's what I
standard,
understand.
right, it's a standard contract. When the paperwork comes in, it's already been approved. We approved it when we voted to accept his bid on that job. And as he completes his work by the contract, then we are obligated to pay him as he finishes the work. When he turns it in to our engineer and they sign off on it, the city council has already approved it. We don't have to go back and approve it a second time. The only thing that happens is the person who's in charge of signing that check would sign off on it. Now, I have all 3 different copies of where he got the first 2 checks. This is the 3rd check, and it's not the same check. It's a different check that finishes up. Yes,
Let
ma'am.
me ask them, were you all made aware of that? Are you knowledgeable about that, Councilman Whipple?
No, but I would like to say, Councilman Edie, you say that you have a hard time. I have came in since about getting checks signed, and Mr. Wonder can vouch for this too. I have came in at different times and asked, do I need to sign any checks?
Yes, ma'am.
And it was your choice and Council Densley's choice not to be put on these signature cards in the beginning. If you was Mayor Pro Tem, you were Mayor Pro Tem, you should have been able to sign anything. But that was y'all the one that refused to sign anything.
The mayor herself put the signature cards together. Myself and Mr. Freddie Denson was never asked. Mr. Freddie was already on it, and she took him off. Mr. Freddie was on the signature cards on some of them. I was never on anything.
No, you all refused to be on
Anything.
anything.
Not on this, not on the signature cards. I was never
To
given a
sign
check.
any, y'all
No.
refused to sign
No.
any check.
Never given a
Because
check.
I made the statement, at one of the meetings that why are we down here, we not down here for the city? Now, right is right. So I made that statement, and y'all did refuse to sign checks. And you did say that you would be on the committee of the
That's
fire
right.
department.
Yes, ma'am, right. Not, just the fire department.
Just the
only.
fire department.
Right.
And Council Denver said that he didn't want to be on any committee. But that was by choice.
Right, and that was different.
But
than
I know it was
signature cards.
different, but that's what I'm saying. It was different once you had to be mayor pro tem. I mean, you had to step in for the mayor. Then it became different.
And so that's why I say perception is everything. The thing of it is, when you say you don't want to be included on anything except, then we took it to mean you didn't want to be involved with anything except the fire department. And that's what, I can attest to what Councilwoman Whipple is saying.
That's fine, I don't have any problem, as long as we can get our checks signed, payroll and everything. Now, if you would let Ms. Toad see this, you or her can sign these checks. You or her, or Mr. Smallwood. Y'all's name is on the splosh account, and this man is here tonight. He would very much like to, be paid so he can finish this job. Now, he's through with the job 3 weeks ago. And it is not the same check, it's a different check.
We need to let council look at this.
Certainly.
Council, he's the finance chair, you need to look at that.
Let me ask you a question, please. As far as the payroll goes, Mr. Eden, yeah, there are days, and I'm trying to tell you that I don't have the best day. When I'm not having a good day, I don't even dress up, I stay around the house. The chief did bring those payroll checks out there. I got no problem signing payroll checks. I said, the only thing is, if you bring my head, I sign it. Bring me a check off list. Don't just bring me a bunch of checks and say, sign these. I want to check the list to see who's getting what. A lot of times people come down and sign a check, and the problem we've been having for years is not accountability. Is that so many of us are asked to sign a check by the clerk, and when you sign the check, everything is blocked but when you're supposed to sign it. Now we don't do that. But the initial check, you did not tell the amount. You just see where you put your name. I won't go into that.
There's a new day a-coming. Everybody gonna be free. A better day for you and me. Everybody gonna be free. Everybody gonna be free, yeah. Oh, Lord have mercy. There'll be no more fighting in Vietnam. Everybody gonna be free all over this land. Everybody gonna be free. Gonna be free. Everybody gonna be free. Gonna be free. Everybody gonna be free. Gonna be free. Lord have mercy, everybody gonna be free, yeah, everybody gonna be free. There'll be no more fighting in Vietnam. Oh Lord, everybody gonna be free. Listen, Mr. President, Yeah, this is an open letter to you. I want to know, why don't you stop the fighting and bring all our boys home? That's right. Mr. President.
Well, Councilman Reese was just escorted out. He fainted, and so the paramedics are on the way. I'm not sure if they need to continue the meeting tonight, but we're waiting. We'll see. This is the first meeting of August, and all council members plus the mayor is here, plus the new city attorney. And our fair representative, Bubba Ellis. Now, you can sit for a while. So let's see what's going on outside.
Street. Here, that
Okay, I'm coming.
So, Pro Tem Edie has said that hopefully he'll be okay. Doesn't seem like too much is going on out here.
What made you repent?
This is the Ghetto Free Press, the George Boston Rhymes, and Councilman Reese just came out of the meeting. He just leaned over, almost passed out. It is extremely hot in there. We have the Wilkerson County Sheriff Department chose to put him in the vehicle to try to assist him. And I think that's good. That's good. It's real good of the police officer trying to get him cool. So they put him with air conditioning in there and try to get his temperature down. The Mayor Whipple-Lue, called for a 10-minute research. It seemed as if people did not know what to do. But my thing was to call 911 because time is of the essence. And so once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press, and I know that you have a right to be informed, and this is what we want. We want you informed because it is what we do. A question was asked about the finances, it was also about the money. Mr. Reese said he didn't want to talk about it because it seemed like they're going round and round, but at that time he just kind of dropped his head. I had someone call 911, so 911 is on their way. Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press, and we are reporting what many people may ignore in the news media circles. But this is real news, and I want you informed because too many meetings have gone, too much has happened that the people do not know. I don't know what's going to happen to this country when we have news media that will not report what actually happens at public meetings here in the state of Georgia. We cannot understand. I had a call today from Ohio, and people was asking me about this particular meeting, and their questions were, why is it that the governor, Eric Holder, the Justice Department, and others have not responded to the cries of the people in this area that seems so prevalent at this time. Once again, tonight, law enforcement presence was very strong and very high tonight. Once again, the Ghetto Free Press.
Your attention.
Please. Councilman Smallwood.
We're waiting on Councilman Smallwood. before what happened to Councilman Reese, and we just want to inform you that he had to be taken, his wife came to pick him up, and he'll do follow-up with the doctor. But before we exit, Mr. Edie made the statement that the Middle Georgia Electrical Company had completed their job and was expecting pay for the sewage situation that they had completed. But before we close that out, I have Mr. Elijah Simmons. Would you please come forward and tell what has happened just today since this job has been completed and this money thus far been paid?
Citizen Board. I live at 203 Great Highway, and I've been having a sewage problem since I've been here. I moved here 4 years ago, and I'm constantly going through a backup type of situation. City Board has been nice about coming and stopping it, but that's not solving the problem. And not only at that property, we have a problem over at 139 Bernie Road, which we sign on. It's my sister's property, but I'm in charge of it. But we sign on with the city to have the system hooked up. Well, she used to have a septic, but it's charging her for city sewage, which was reimbursed back to her, but still it's going on. So they tied that system up to the city, and they promised they would come out, dig up the septic tank, fill it up, whatever needs to be done. None of that been done. They run the pipe down through it, hooked it up, but nothing was done to that septic tank. Any equipment or whatever come down through there, or I don't know the condition of the septic tank, but if any child or another human being come down through there and that system is not strong enough to hold a person, you could fall in there and cause bodily injury. And the thing I'm looking at, everything's supposed to be done, but don't do it partially. I'm looking at the city of Gordon as getting everything done real quick and not properly doing things the way it's supposed to be done. I did plumbing for 31 years, so I am a plumber. I'm not an engineer, but I'm a plumber. So I know what is required and what has to be done to solve the problem, and it hasn't been done.
May I ask a question, Mr. Simmons?
Sure.
Who did you refer this problem to? Was it to City Hall, Melvin Lawrence, our public works guy, or did the engineer who was over that project come look at it, Mr. Tim Ingram?
No, I went right to City Hall. She's the person that I reported it to, Heather, wrote up the complaint for me. And even before then, I forgot who the inspector was at the time. George Wynn?
He was here before Melvin.
Okay, well, I have reported that particular incident to him 4 years ago concerning that type of system that was happening in Whipple-Lue. So it's been going on for quite some time.
On years on the Great Highway and not the one on Bernie
The
Road.
one on Bernie Road been going on that long. Mine's been 3 years. That's back and forth.
But this is complete.
No, it's not. Mine's not complete. Neither is hers. But the septic tank is still in the ground, and it was put on paper, which I signed myself, that they gave the city board and gave me a certain time to sign this agreement that if we sign this agreement, everything would be done at no expense to us. They would tie us in from a septic tank to the city sewer system, and that septic tank would be pumped out and filled. That septic tank has not been touched as of yet.
I'll find out tomorrow, Mr. Tim Ingram, what went on. It sounded like you gave me some information there that might have kicked in. There was a time frame that you were supposed to have done something. Do you think maybe that time frame run out before they got it done and the contract was stopped?
No, it wasn't. The contract that they gave us to sign was for the system being tied in. That was signed before time. It was signed maybe about 3 weeks or so before the period of time. They came months after to do the repair, but they never did anything to the septic. out and either fill it in or whatever they do for it. Nothing ever been done, but they did tie that system in. But my system over there, which is behind Dr. Dunn's property, few of the tenants over there are still having problem with the sewer system. So I don't know what's going on with it, but I know it's not something that's normal. Somebody needs to do something, correct?
I'll be glad to check on it.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
I have a question. Ms. Bryan, have you had any other complaints with anybody else coming in saying anything about it?
Normally, it never takes the work order, so you did better when asked.
Oh, okay.
I would like to add to that, prior to my going out, there were problems with the sewer system back up. We had several complaints of people saying sewage, just as you were saying, they've been paid, but sewage backing up. I know at Westbrook Road, they've had problems with sewage, and I'm not mistaken, right over on Shinhouster Street. This year, since I've been mayor, I had no idea, but they had all of this into place prior to my coming in. And now to say that they've signed off on this money, and we're yet having sewage backup problems, I know personally, and would you like to elaborate what's happening up on the property?
Well, Westwood Road, Favorite Summer Department, it's just it's been an ongoing problem. They come out, they respond, but some, here recently, I gotta say, George did a great job for us responding to when it rained over. But I think last time it took about a couple of weeks, you know, for them to come out with enough stop it, they had to cut some more trees down or whatever. But the main thing is that the sewer run over and go over to our garden. And they say that they're gonna come back and dig it up, properly dig it up and make everything good again, but that never happened. So.
And that's an EPD situation that's waiting.
But I just reported it, that's all. I think, Mr. Brady, down here, recall that, Mr. Brady, when I reported that, I said that, you know, I'm not trying to throw anything, that's what I was telling y'all about. This don't need to happen. Been sitting out there for over a week. So.
What is that resident number?
It's right behind Favorite Summer, the apartment. We own property behind there, but I live back there. 151, 145, 143.
I see it. No, yes, sir. Come forward, please.
I'm with Miller George Letter. Me, it seems like there's confusion for the two issues. One is electrical work that we've done for the generator, and that was all. It was nothing to do with sewage or anything. It was just a backup electrical generator to run the system. It has nothing to do with any infrastructure as far as sewer lines, septic tanks, anything else. So I just want to make sure everybody's clear that there's two separate issues here. And the one I'm dealing with has nothing to do with sewer pump, the sewer piping, the sewer tanks, lift station, anything. It's just putting generators for when the power goes out, you've got a backup system. That's all I do. That's what the contract is for. I just want to make sure y'all are not confused.
Now, I'm glad you said that because I remember back during you, when it was you, am I right, that had the lawsuit that was,
I never had a lawsuit.
No, but with the $16,000 payment, was that you that was supposed to brought the check back and we never received that $16,000 check to go ahead and pay you that $52,000, so that was that night of the last council meeting, I think it was. So we'll get with that,
I'll give a check back to Steve, give it back to y'all.
Did you?
That we did that.
Okay.
I've only, the deal with the contract is, once I submit payment, the city has 10 days to issue payment. If not, then I do have legal rights. We're going on 40 days, so I understand y'all's issue, and I've just been trying to be patient. But I would like to get paid. I have contractors to pay, bills to pay. So I've either got to get a check or I got to take them back. I don't want to do that. So I'd like to settle that tomorrow between me and you if you could.
Well, this is me and council. I can't do anything without approving, with the council's approval. So, council, you've heard his statement. So So I'm not going to do anything without council, being involved. Bottom line.
With that said, I'd like to make a motion that we, pay Mr. Robert, Mrs. Georgie Leggett, $40,215.56. His check has already been made out for 3 weeks now. You and Mr. Smallwood can sign it. Ms. Toast said she'd rather not, but you and Mr. Smallwood could, you know. So I'd like to make a motion that we pay this bill so we can take care of it.
I second that motion.
Discussion before, Councilman Whipple.
You said that you only did the generator, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, it's what these problems that we're having, you were saying that it
That
has
doesn't do it.
nothing to do with the,
No, ma'am, it's just,
generator?
all I've done is electrical, no plumbing, no septic tank line, anything, it's just strictly. And as, I mean, as a contractor, you're looking, just look at the sign, so it's strictly electrical.
So you fulfill what you were supposed to do on the contract?
I'm 100%
According to,
done.
according to the contract, you fulfill your job.
Yes, ma'am.
So that don't have anything to do with this.
Any other questions, discussion? Go ahead.
I would just go back to what Mr. Simmons was saying about 203 Gray Highway. I lived in that house for years, and he bought it from me. And it had septic problems, but it was due to the tree in the front of the yard with roots growing into the line. It had nothing to do with the city. It had septic problems long before that, and it had roots.
You do have a motion on the floor.
Right there. So we have a motion on the floor. So, all in favor?
Roll call, vote, please.
Start with you.
I vote yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
They all voted yes.
All right, okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will now enter into executive session. So, we ask,
Madam Mayor,
You got to.
go ahead.
I'm, on behalf of questions for the Open Meetings Act, I'd like to know why you're going into executive session.
Okay, well, before we go in, we have Attorney Tom Richardson here with us, and that is a personnel matter.
A personnel matter. It's not on the agenda to have an executive session. Are you going to amend the agenda to allow that?
Yeah. It was left off,
Well, it's not on the agenda, ma'am. And to have an executive session, it has to be on the
let
agenda.
me go ahead and ask for a motion to amend this and add it to the agenda.
Thank you.
And it is to discuss pending litigation.
Thank you.
Certainly.
I offer motion that we go into executive section with Mr. Tom Richardson for, the EOC.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Everybody has to about all vote.
Aye.
I vote yes, go into executive session for attorney.
Any opposed? Motion carried with 9 executive session.
This is still the city council meeting in Boone. They moved into executive session. People are standing around waiting. Some people have left, but there are some who are still here and probably will go in when they call. And I will for one. You can also see a local television station interviewing someone over here. And I'm not going to get into that. We're going to let them have this one because I just want them to do that. But I'm always open for all interviews from anybody. Yes. One gentleman tonight asked me, why did I go through all these little towns calling it confusion? And I asked him, did he want to get on camera? And he said, no, he did not want to get on camera. And then I began to tell him, he stood, he was patient enough to listen to most of it. I told him that I was called, first of all, to Whitman with James Charles Brown III concerning him not having an office. And then I was called to Meigs, Georgia with Linda Harris, who had been put out of her office, moved to another office, and later moved from that office, as well as taken her power stripped from her and given to a city manager. I also told him that I left there, and I was also called to Dawson, Georgia, where Chris Wright had been shot 6 times and left in his yard. Then told him I was called to Gordon, Georgia. And then I was called to Lumpkin, Georgia. And by the way, that ambulance is here because we had a councilman to almost pass out. It was hot in there, and of course his wife came and took him to the hospital to a doctor. And so that's why they're there. Then I told him that there are other little small towns and that the governor and the Secretary of State, as well as the Justice Department, are fully aware of what's going on. And I will entertain any questions from anyone. There's no need to just talk. I mean, that's why I'm here, to answer the questions. And if I am in error, then of course I would like for anybody to tell me in front of the camera what the problem is. But there's one thing I do know, that if the governor called me in, I will not have to say a word. If Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp called me in, I will not have to say a word. Or if the Georgia Attorney General Sam Olens called me, I won't have to answer a thing. All I would have to do is to give him the contacts in all of these towns that called me and who know what is going on in these particular cities. And the record, the documented record, as well as videos of how mayors have been blocked out of their office, are treated like no other mayors in the history of these various cities. And this is the truth. And not only as I receive it, but as it has been documented. And once again, I told this young Caucasian brother that, and at the end of it, I told him, thank him for asking the question and for listening. Because once again, it's not about what I say or what I do. It's about the American people and those who serve in foreign nations. Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhymes, doing what I do because it must be done.
Drexel, D-R-E-X-I-N-A-L. Curtis, C-U-R-T-I-S.
So it's Drexel Curtis, not Curtis Drexel.
Drexel, Curtis.
Yeah. All right. So I guess first off, what do you think about this whole situation?
Well, it was a little confusing. Justin lost the tenth of it. It is what it is. We do have the mayor. We just have to accept that. If they was interested, they came out and vote to have a part to be with all this conflict in the politics of it. And I don't feel that she was wrong by having the town auditor, because she the new mayor, she come in and she had the right to know what is really going on. So they made a big issue out of that, which it shouldn't have been a part of our agenda or the citizen of Gordon.
Now how do you feel that she's back in office, at least for now?
Yes, maybe Gordon get back to the same thing that it used to be.
and the peoples, and not to have races in our town, because it shouldn't be. And it was always a good town, and now we just have a new mayor, which is her right. She won it fair and square, so it should be give back to normal and let her do her job.
And one last thing, when they were in court the other day, because you know there's still, the lawsuit's still going on against her, right? But the judge was basically like, I would rather you guys get together and come to some peaceful decision so that the lawsuit gets dropped, because all the judge can do is either all one way or all the other. And basically, he was basically saying, you know, there's wrong on both sides, there's right on both sides. If y'all can come to a peaceful decision, that'd be a lot better than anything I can do. Do you see that happening with these two groups? Do you think they'll be able to come to a peaceful decision, or do you think they'll have to rely on the court?
I think they should give a citizen a chance. It's all about the citizen, and the mayor's job is all about the citizen. I think they should give the citizen a chance, and all of us come together, have a meeting, and decide on it before we go to court, and then we might be less jurisdiction in other court to be taking it to court.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Let me ask you one other question, brother.
Yes,
what
sir.
do you think about tonight's meeting? Is a lot of people in there, is extremely hot. What do you think about the environment in that? Do you think a public meeting in the state of Georgia should be held in such a place, that hot, no fans, zero probably air circulation? What do you think about that?
Yes, I had a complaint about that, and I asked just a few minutes ago about that. Why we having all this chaos, and we should be containing our sound system in our building. We couldn't even hear, not enough sound system, nor the air condition. The capacity of the people might be not enough, so it was kind of miserable. And we had one of our representatives to pass out due to the heat and the stress inside the building.
Do you think that this audit, the fact that we've been having trouble with this mayor in terms of what is claimed and filed throughout the Wilkinson County newspapers and other newspaper and television stations, do you think that this has contributed to the gridlock, that we can't get mics that'll work, that we can't get the building that has air conditioning or at least fans? Do you think all that is tied in together?
Yes, it's a takeaway. I don't understand why this is about the money, and we liking all the facilities. So it's the money been spent, they didn't use it towards the facilities or garden. I've been a gardener here for 40 years, a resident here, and I've been into this situation several times. Even when my man fell out, Terry, he ran for mayor, and we had the blackouts and all that. So,
okay. My last question to you is this, my beautiful brother, is why do you think that, well, no, I put it like this, who do you think it seemed to be the most obstructive concerning the audit going forward? Who, if anybody, would you say is against the audit?
well, I have to say, even though Mr. Edie putting in a lot of term, a big issue and deal into it, I feel like if it was fair, nothing was wrong with it, shouldn't be a problem. You should just open the books up and go to the book, and everybody there see the book and understand it, what's going on. It shouldn't be no hidden, what would I say, no hidden agenda for that.
But what do you think about the majority of the blacks on the end? They just wouldn't hardly even talk loud. You couldn't hardly hear them. Do you think? Why do you think they're so low when they respond? The blacks on the end in particular. Why you really won't speak up? I mean, even if you don't have mics, you should want the people to hear what you're saying, and not only the black, Mr. Smallwell as well. I mean, why do you think they don't speak up as if though we want to hear?
Well, I reckon due to the finance, they got to get mics and stuff. Now, since the town has begun to get involved more into the city council now, the council meetings and everything, so they just got to grow into it now. Since things have changed.
So you think things will finally be resolved now?
Yes, when they allow the mayor to do her job.
What's your name again?
Drexel.
Why are you
Curtis.
talking out like this? I have trouble finding especially black men to speak out. What makes you speak out this evening, my brother?
I've been in trouble like this before.
Okay. Thank you.
Right here in this same little town.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
I came today because I represent a portion of the citizens here that are members of National Action Network. They filed a complaint with me concerning what's going on here in the city of Gordon. And one complaint is concerning the finances. They're concerned about the audit that has not been completed. And they have filed a complaint with our national office because they feel like part of the civil rights are being violated because they need to know what's happening with the money. They have a lot of problems here that have not been solved. With the kind of monies that have come into water and what the monies were earmarked for, those problems should have been taken care of. They get a community development grant that comes from the federal government that also gets state subsidies that come into the city to help with various things. Community development monies also. And they have done a 2007 SPLOS fund, and they have a present SPLOS fund that needs, the funds are coming in, and they need to identify what those funds are being used for. As I watched the meeting tonight, a lot of the council people the people that are sitting on the city council are not aware of a lot of the things that's going on. It appears that only one person on the council seems to have a working knowledge of what's going on with the city, and I think every council person should be privy to that information.
What do you think that is that knows?
It seems that Terry Eat is the only one that has knowledge of the finances concerning contracts and different things of that nature. I'm used to in city government seeing all of the council people because they have to make the decisions as to what contracts are accepted, what contracts are rejected, and how much you pay, the payments for the contracts. And that does not seem to be happening here. They're bringing the contracts after the fact, wanting the money to be paid. And, that's not good government.
So do you see this meeting being as successful as you can? I mean, this is her first day really back on the council and making the decision.
I think it's a lot to encompass, and it's not enough time. She has not had enough time to sit down and look at. I'm sure they have different committees for each thing, so everything should be going through committee first before it even comes to the full body council to examine those contracts and different things of that nature. But I think a big key to this whole thing is, as I said to you once before, is that audit. And an official forensic audit should have been done before the mayor took office. And they did not have the proper transition team. And that's what created a serious problem.
Do you have anything else you want to add about it?
I just want to say National Action Network is an organization that's not only concerned about the black citizens, we're concerned about citizens' rights, period. And we are non-partisan, so we're not connected to any particular party. And we work for the people. Our work is for the people. And we work for any people that come to us with a civil complaint. Thank you. You're welcome.
We just returned from the executive session. As you can see, a lot of people stuck around, but a lot of them left as well. All they would do is just adjourn the meeting from the executive session. You can see a lot of people remain.
Because of the lateness of the hour, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to table the rest of the items on the agenda until
Hold
the
on,
next.
Ms. Mayor, there's about 2 or 3 things in the new business that really need to be taken care of, you know. Some of these contracts, I mean, I think they're real simple and easy to take care of under the new business. They're already behind the energy defense fund and the lease agreement. There's at least 2 that we really need to take care of tonight.
My agenda is somewhere in it. I have one that is this one.
You have to do it. Okay, do our motion. Go back in the open session.
Yeah. Motion is recommended. I'm going to open the door back into the regular session.
I'll make a motion that we go back into open session.
I second that.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? So you going to get that?
Now, actually, there are 3 different things, there's 2 contracts, energy defense services agreement for the court service. I'd like to make a motion that we approve that agreement.
I second the motion.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Do we have the resolution for the 2013 wash account, brother? We've got 2 checks for Jenny deposit without going through that resolution to adopt. Do y'all have one? Or anybody?
We don't have it. Do y'all have anything?
We weren't
Council got
I would think
it.
You can hold the line about-
it should be the one that,
I can't hear you.
They should have it if they have one, but they send it.
She said they haven't given her one yet.
Oh.
So we'll table that. We'll table that.
I make a motion that we agree to the Pitney Bowes lease agreement.
Motion has been made and second. All in favor, roll call.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Is there any committee member that wants to would like to make a committee report?
We do need to try to resolve the attorney issue tonight. It certainly needs to be brought to the attention at this table tonight.
We'll just go ahead and table that. At the next meeting. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Terry, I think they have to vote to, you have to vote to table something.
There's no motion to table for.
Can I get a motion that we table this? For the rest of the agenda. I think that once we're home.
If you're saying that you don't want to do the city attorney status.
Right.
So it's nothing else supposed to do?
Need a
So
motion?
I suggest that we adjourn the meeting then until Monday, August
Make a
8th.
motion.
I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting then until August the 18th, 2014, 5:30.
Can I get a second? Okay. The motion has been made and second. All in favor?
Roll call vote.
Roll call.
Aye.
Abstain.
No.
Okay, we have 3 ayes and 1 abstaining, so motion, we have to take.
Ms. Coles, what's the vote, Madam Clerk?
Say aye.
What's the vote, Madam Clerk? Okay, Whipple voted yes, Isley abstained. Edie no, Smallwood no, and Toles yes. Want to table all the rest of the information to the next council meeting.
So it failed.
What did you say, something?
All right, this group will make a motion to adjourn the meeting on August 18th at 5:30. And seconded by Ms. Combs. And I had Scribble voting aye, Isley abstaining, Edie voting no, Smallwood no, and Coles voting yes. So may we adjourn?
He voted to adjourn, he said, did you say you're in agreement to adjourn, Councilman Smallwood?
No, this is a training.
What did you say? I can't hear you. What did you say? Okay, so it's fair.
No. Not even vote, you can't vote. They abstain and a no and 3 yeses, it takes 4 votes to make it pass. So it's failed. So we come back to the table now and we need to address the attorney issue tonight. That is my question. It's on this table now. We need to address it.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear it being that way. I heard that you had 3 yeses to close out, which was, correct me if I'm wrong, saying you need 4. Attorney General. I'll open the floor up for discussion.
I don't think they heard you on it.
I'll open the floor for discussion.
The first thing that you have on this one is the removal of Joseph Boone as city attorney. So we come to that item first, okay?
The first thing she has on here, Councilman Edie, is the city attorney status. That's the first thing.
Right.
So that's what we need to get first. Before we cannot remove, if we cannot remove Mr. Boone as city attorney until we find out where we are at and who is, and I would like to know who is. So that's the first thing, the city attorney status.
Who was going to ask that question? That question has been back and forth between Mr. Boone's office and Mr. Jones's office, and Mr. Kendall has even put his 2 cent worth in.
Y'all as council, he's addressing you all. Didn't need to hear it. Can you hear
Okay, at the last council meeting, I'll say something. At the last council meeting, well, not the last council meeting, but at one of the council meetings, we voted, and we voted to get rid of Boone, Attorney Boone. Okay, so now the question is, now you're saying that, now we ended up with 2 lawyers. We got one intern, and we got, and you're still saying that we have Attorney Boone. So what we need to know at this time, which one of y'all put this on the agenda? So what we need to know now, what I don't need it from, I need it from this agenda. Okay, so I need to know then, well, who is the attorney? So that's what, you brought it, you don't want to close out, you wanted to bring it back up. So, and we do need to know, because we don't need to be paying 2 people. So, now, so who, right now, who is considered the city attorney?
You want to ask Mr. Jones what he thinks, then Mr. Boone what he thinks, and then we'll see
What you
we
think?
can go
What
on.
you think, Terry? Mr. E, Councilman E.
My contention the whole time is that the mayor was not supposed to have voted that night. He was not a 3-3 tie, yet she voted. The judge just recently, in the case of the hearing we had the other day, he pretty much told everybody there that the mayor was not supposed to vote for the attorney. That is in the order that's in place right now. So if he said it, he agreed with the city charter that she could not vote except in a 3-3 tie. So that's where I'm going with that. So, you know, he was not fired legally, and Mr. Jones was not hired legally because of the same fact. It was not a 3-3 tie, but she voted as a 4th vote. And the judge has said that she cannot do that. Mr. Jones?
The judge had made a decision on when the mayor could vote. He also indicated the mayor could ask for guidance if she has any questions or submissions. So, but my understanding is that's going to be appealed. The judge has an interpretation of that provision of the charter is to win the mayor can vote. And I personally differ with the judge. I think the election of officers and the provision allowing the mayor to vote for election of officers elected by the county includes the city attorney. And in order to determine whether the Superior Court judge has the final word, we may have to appeal that decision. But as of right now, he has made his determination. And that determination was that the city attorney did not consider the elected officer or allow the mayor to vote without a tie. So, but there's another point in which my consideration is that during the May 21st vote, Councilman Mr. Boone, he stated clearly that he would be willing to leave if the council would leave the page. That would be considered a resignation. He resigned. And the council would leave the page. And he received $22,000. He made a suggestion that also he would want payment for a transition fee. The council approved the transition fee. And then next, he sent me a letter on May 29th saying he would turn the files on within a week. So he confirmed that he was not out of office. And that is consistent with the resignation. So in my opinion, whether the mayor could vote or not is subservient to the fact that Mr. Boone resigned.
I didn't hear that way.
I'm gonna let Mr. Green address it on my behalf.
In the very same meeting that Mr. Jones refers to, Mr. Boone specifically stated, my acceptance of any payment of services rendered to date does not mean that I agree that this vote is lawful and valid. And I would be happy to go so long as there is a lawful vote. I do not agree that this vote is lawful. That's in the minutes. Now, secondly, as far as his payment, there was no transition fee approved. The extra money was money paid that had not been billed for to that current time. A transition was deemed to be necessary if there was a lawful vote found and valid. We did communicate with you as to your interpretation. However, you and one other attorney, the only attorneys we spoke to that agreed with their position. Georgia's Park, which general counsel tends to agree with our position. The judge stated clearly in the hearing the other day that he did not believe the vote was lawful. It was an illegal vote, made did not have the power to act, and that it would require the affirmative vote of council members to terminate the city, and also that your contract, Mr. Jones, would need to be affirmed. Even if appointed, you still have to be affirmed by the council, which has not happened. And that's on the agenda to do tonight. If you've got a valid, lawful 4 votes to terminate Mr. Boone, affirmative 4 votes of council members, that's the lawful way. That cuts us loose of any legal and ethical responsibilities to the city.
Well, the council doesn't vote, there needs to be a full council here. One of that. So you really have a problem with the vote of not even here.
It requires an affirmative 4 votes. If you have more than 4 council members, or 4 or more, you can vote. Otherwise, we can't adjourn this meeting. If that were the law, what you're saying.
Either one to bring motion up, he can make a motion, any motion he wants to. And it can be voted on, if it passes, if it fails, it fails. Bring the city attorney status.
Either way, get rid of or hire him. Because you still have not been approved when you get heard that.
Yes, sir. I heard his attorney say so.
Mr. Jones, we would agree with that. Our offer to you was that if you had questions, you could take it to the judge. You said you would not do that. You bring it before this council. Here they sit.
But
I'm prepared for the council to take a vote when they're full council. They want to take a vote tonight?
Discussion. What'd you say? So, what you were saying is that the judge is one that, the judge made a decision, right? That Attorney Boone was still out, took forward?
Yes.
The judge said he felt that the vote was not lawful. In fact, it is much states in his order. Well, the order is anything but that. The transcript of the hearing will reflect what the judge's statement happened.
Do you have a copy of the first transcript of the first hearing where the judge made the statement that, in the May 21st meeting, from where Attorney Boone was removed? Do you have a copy of that?
The first hearing?
When the judge said that the mayor could vote?
No, ma'am, he indicated.
That's in the first one now.
He indicated that normally a mayor can vote with the council, however, then later was presented with a copy of the charter, and it said, wow, this is unusual, but it does take the affirmative 4 voted council members during that hearing.
But see, I wasn't there, but so what was said to me was passed on, and that we had successfully removed Attorney Boone. Attorney Boone said, if y'all want me gone, I'm out of here. I reached back, this is in the minutes. This is the copy of the minutes. It was the vote, it was the proper vote. So now the judge has come back in the second hearing with his interpretation, which is not in the charter. That's why it's being appealed to the Supreme Court of Georgia.
It can be handled tonight.
No.
All council has to do is vote one way or the other.
I offer that, I offer a motion that we just table it.
Right.
Motion has been offered to table. Can I get a second? Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Roll call.
No.
What did you vote, Mr. Reed?
I made the motion to table it, and she said.
They were doing the roll call vote. This is Coles. You're abstaining? And what was Reed vote on the motion?
I didn't vote. No one table now.
Alright. Okay, Mr. Denson abstained, Smallwood voted no, Eddie voted no, Toles abstained, Whipple didn't get yours.
The bottom line, the bottom line, he agreed to be gone. He agreed to be gone. But I'm just saying.
Okay, I have a question. One more question. The money that they offered to pay you during the transition, Attorney Boone, the money that they offered to pay you for the transition period, did you accept, have you been paid yet?
It hasn't been a transition, no, I haven't been paid.
You haven't been paid?
I told this council from day one, like Mr. Bree said, all I'm interested in is a valid vote. There hasn't been one yet, and I think the judge confirmed that in that order. I'm not going to question the judge's order. Y'all can if you want to.
I'm not even sure what the motion is. Was the motion made to table, vote on whether to fire Attorney Boone?
No, the motion was made to table that.
Table voting on whether or not to fire Attorney Boone?
No.
Okay, what?
And then the city attorney status.
Motion made to table abstained, Smallwood voted no, Edie voted no, Toles abstained, and Whipple said yes.
The table.
Next one. Good, sir.
Listen, we can't keep going back and forth all night. One of the things that we need to do right now is, Mr. Boone is still the legal attorney as far as everything goes. Everything that I know. Now, Mr. Jones, just stop using him until we can clear this matter up. That's the simplest thing that anybody could say. He has not been approved, he has not been voted on, and we can put it to a vote now. That's fine.
Councilman Disney asked me a question, Councilman Whipple asked me a question. Councilman Whipple's question was, what was the status of what the judge decided? And I explained earlier, the judge had an interpretation of the charter, and interpretation can be appealed to the Court of Appeals, and if it's reversed, then the Court of Appeals decision will stand. And so her response was, this case is still in litigation. And the Whipple versus Lue case, before Judge Reed is still in litigation, not finished. That's how it is. So her question is, until it's finished, then there's no final decision on the city attorney by the judge. The order did not specifically say that Joe Boone is still the attorney. It just said that Mayor Lue had limitations on voting. But it did not say he was invalidating the prior May 21st vote. The judge order did not even say that he would invalidate anything by May 21st. He could have even said that, but he did. So he did not invalidate the actual vote. He only said that going forward, the mayor should not vote unless there's a tie. And so I responded to that question. I'm the Congress.
Read it to him, Jerry.
But it was not a tie the night that she voted. It was not a tie. But she voted anyway.
Because based on the judge's decision at the hearing, that I could vote.
There's no current appeal pending. The appeal that was pending was dismissed yesterday, to my understanding. And the judge does not need to affirm an invalid vote. On its face, it's invalid. He doesn't need to go back and say it's not an unlawful thing, is thereby unlawful.
Do you have a copy? I didn't get one. You have a copy, what you said on this list? Oh, well, I don't have the.
Well, you don't have to set my word as what the court's order is.
I'm not sure, I don't want to miss out exactly what you said. Sorry, yeah, exactly what you said. I don't want to miss out.
So we can still, we got.
That's what you know.
But we gotta go back to.
If we can't, I have to agree with Mr. Jones on one point. If we can't agree tonight to have a valid vote one way or the other, then there's two things I would say. One, the judge did say that you may petition the court for guidance as to how you can vote. And secondly,
I'm sorry.
But it's my understanding that you have the agenda, correct, Mayor?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
You drafted this agenda?
No,
You did not make the agenda?
no,
Mayor?
this is the one I did, but it's not attached to, this is the one I have. But if you care, the rest you can have a
This is
copy.
the one that was posted.
I know, but that's not the one I posted.
Well, the one that's posted is the one that's official because that's the one that the city was.
But that was without, if
Did
you
you
care to
put-
come over and look.
Did you have your, so long as you put, these are the two items removed with the city attorney.
I want you to see personally. I don't have a problem with being commissioner.
Okay. This thing.
I know.
Don't mind, be quiet, we're gonna listen first. Understand what's going on.
But you have, well, that's what you have. This is yours.
That should have been the first.
Can I borrow this for just a second? This is your handwriting? Mayor? All right, well, in both of them, Mayor, you have removal of Joseph Boone as city attorney and then appointment of new city attorney Ronnie Jones, thereby, in your own words, Joseph Boone remains the city attorney and you would have to appoint Ronnie Jones as the new attorney.
Let me say
We're
something.
going to
Let me
remain
say
in that
this.
status.
Let me say this. And the gentleman get that back. But
If she, I have a question, I mean, I have a statement. If she's not really sure, if she's not really sure tonight,
Right.
and I hope the people will understand this, if she's not really sure tonight, what did you say about she can consult with the judge?
The judge's order says that if she is not sure, she
Okay.
is to petition the court for guidance.
So,
take that. That's what I'm saying. I was not trying to be rude, but that's what I'm
And you
saying.
weren't, I don't think you were, I'm just saying that there has to be.
But some was receiving it that way, so we have to specify and clear that up. I don't want that placed in the newspaper like it's always been this, directive. So please make sure that,
Pardon me, Mayor?
what they're
What in the newspaper?
I have information.
Well, if you're addressing
Don't
me,
say anything.
if you're addressing me, you're like,
Don't say anything.
That's all of us be careful, the judge's order does say,
yeah.
I don't know how many of y'all have read this order, but it really applies to everyone. And we all need to be careful how we treat each other. and how we talk to each other.
Exactly. Thank you.
So you need to check with the judge.
So I'm going to, you all will, I suggest that we just table this and I follow this.
Still table, it's already tabled.
Go ahead.
I think since he had not been affirmed by his counsel, we feel like he's legal.
My response to that, yes, I think that the mayor appointed me legally and pending approval. Pending approval, but so this is the first meeting of the council where that could be, it could be approved.
Well, so that make you still not approved, right?
Yes, I agree, but that could be appointed by the mayor.
But you got to get approved by the council. That's all.
So what you're saying, you're gonna check over the judge?
All right. I'll wait till I consult with the judge.
Thank you.
Back to where I want a motion to adjourn. Can I get a motion? Council?
I offer motion that the meeting be adjourned to the next council meeting. Monday, August 18, 2014, 5:30.
The motion is second. Roll call.
Second.
Aye. You ready to go?
Are you asking a question?
He said roll
Second.
call.
Motion made and second. All in favor, roll call.
To adjourn? Yes.
Aye.
Aye.